Just over 100 years ago, Japan reopened its borders for the first time in centuries, meaning that the island was then accessible to foreigners who had never heard of this land before. As Japan began to play a bigger role in world affairs and trade, many became interested with Japan and became immersed in their culture. These people were known as Japanophiles. Over 100 years later, popularity of anime led to Akio Nakamori coining the term Otaku in 1983. In the following decades, the term became somewhat of a derogatory phase, but was eventually adopted in a more positive light due to a bunch of Westerners using the phrase despite not really knowing what it meant. However, the phrase has since fallen out of use, and those who currently use it are some of the biggest wastes of flesh on this earth. In the mid-2010s, a new word was adopted: weeaboo. This was originally used as an insult, but was gradually adopted under the slightly shorter version, weeb. And this term saw success, provided you didn't say it with the hard ooh. However, recently the term has become much more of an umbrella term. I would claim to be a weeb, but so do people who have only watched JoJo's and people who used anime as a stepping stone towards K-pop. And so, a new term was required. A meeting was called to answer this question. A meeting that I was privy to witness due to my success in the 25th annual Spot the Panty contest. The first term considered as the new name for anime fan was anime fan, but frankly that was just too obvious. The next candidate was the term degenerate, and while it did gain traction, a paradox was noted. All weebs are degenerates, but not all degenerates are weebs. Degenerate is a term that could also be used for bronies, and we don't want to rub elbows with them. However, a voice was raised, and it declared that from now on, the term should be man of culture. Silence descended, only to be split with the sound of rapturous applause. And so from now on, we have a new word for elite anime fans: men of culture. This is not to be confused with the term for elitist anime fans. Those are just called anime YouTubers. So you might be wondering how to become a man of culture, and the process is simple, as it is a process of rebirth. Going forward with this rebirth metaphor, many studies indicate that playing Mozart to babies before they're born helps with mental development. So as you metaphorically gestate, you should listen to a more cultured alternative to Mozart, which is the following. Just leave that on loop and listen to it for the next 3 to 10 minutes. Coincidentally, there are 3 to 10 minutes left of this video, so as you wait to become cultured, how about I tell you about what being a man of culture entails? Being a man of culture is not an occupation, it is a philosophy, a religion, a way of life. A man that many men of culture look up to is Diogenes. Diogenes was a man of few possessions, and insisted on throwing away unnecessary items, such as his bowl, as he thought his hands could do the same job. Men of culture have thrown away the idea of a relationship for that exact same reason. Their philosophy has allowed them to view the world around them differently. For example, a simple plebeian will see this footage and say, "Man, the JoJo community really put a lot of effort into their edits." However, a man of culture will say, "Man, the Gabriel Dropout community put a lot of effort into their edits." Another example of different viewpoints is with anime figures. Anime figures have previously been seen as things that you collect. Men of culture, however, have dug deeper, and have revealed that anime figures are in fact fertility idols. Around the world, fertility idols have been worshipped in rituals that are meant to increase the chances of reproduction. Men of culture have such a ritual, which is of course to present their seed for the inspection of the fertility idol, which is a convoluted way of saying that they get their anime figure and nut on it. While previous brands of weebism have seen infighting due to sects, such as Haruhiism, Madokaism, and Shinjoism, men of culture, such as myself, do not observe splits. This has become ingrained in our image, as many people note this fact by saying, "Man, I bet this lot will never have any sects." However, despite our religious outlooks, we respect the scientific process, as seen with this section of Interspecies Reviewers, where we see a clear hypothesis followed by experimentation regarding dick size. It is a common misconception that men of culture have to be men and/or human. There are many examples of men of culture who are girls. For example, Connoisseur from Lucky Star is a bastion of our values, transcending the concept of dere to simply be Connoisseur. In terms of non-human men of culture, we have Meow from Space Dandy. This thing boards Dandy's ship like a xenomorph, and like a xenomorph, it lives off the crew, but in a monetary way this time. The thing that men of culture value above all is exploration. Sometimes, men of culture will catch on to something long before the rest of society. Such trends include ahegao, the Okie Dokie Boomer song, and not going outside. This desire for exploration is evident within many of the trends in anime. 10 years ago, tits were all the rage, but then we moved on to feet. And now we've moved on to thighs. It's predicted that by 2032 we will have moved on to midriff, and by the end of the century we will have fetishized every aspect of an anime girl, with the exception of that pixelated thing on the front of their crotch, which we believe to be called a vagine. Although, something else that will have happened by the end of the century is, of course, our mission. This is the colonization of Mars, which will see men of culture travelling to the Red Planet with Elon Musk and setting up a colony. The name of this colony shall be New Akihabara, and on every street corner there shall be a Greg's where you get served by maids. This colony shall be devoted to developing the field of human science, and one day we may even make our waifus real. It will be one small step for mankind, so that anime girls can step on us. But now that you've heard all that, surely you cannot wait to become a man of culture. It's time to take your headphones out. Oh dear. I think I broke him.